Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. If you remember last year, and I believe it might have been in the summer, when we saw the AU, the African Union, was making moves to try to convince the US government to give them our reparations. And they made us the sixth region. And we didn't even know about this stuff. So they were doing all this underhanded stuff, trying to cheat us out of our reparations. And it just goes to show you how far a Hamite will go, you know? And it also proves that they're all enemies at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen. The Most High told us who our enemies are. He has not been wrong yet. They are. And they had this plan to take our money and they wanted us to come over there and build Africa. And I said, this doesn't even make any sense. Y'all got over 1 billion people on that continent. Why would you need anybody from the outside to come there and build it up? Now, I see why the Europeans needed help because Europe was in a squalor. They were living in squalor over there. They weren't doing nothing with Europe. They can't even say, see, we built Europe before we came here. They didn't. They were living in the pits of hell over there in Europe. They didn't build that place up. That's why they needed us, because they didn't know what the hell to do. I don't care what they say. You grabbed us because you didn't know what the hell to do. And this is why all of the first presidents had a more teaching them how to run a country. Y'all didn't know what to do. I don't care what kind of crap you talk today. Y'all did not know what to do. And it's very apparent these Hamites don't know what to do either. Y'all just live in that country, but you don't do anything to fix it up. You don't do anything to make the infrastructure better. Y'all don't do it because you probably don't know how to do it. But you come over here talking about how educated you are and how much y'all are just so much more advanced than us. Well, your country don't look advanced. Africa don't look advanced, but you claim all these advanced people are there, then that place should be immaculate. How come it's not? How come it doesn't look advanced? Y'all still walking on dirt roads. You're walking down streets with no sidewalk. You're walking down streets with dirt roads with no signs, no traffic lights, no street lights at all. It's pitch black once the sun goes down. So how the hell are you advanced? Okay, that your homeland should be a reflection of the people, right? Well, it's a bad reflection on you. That's all I got to say. Yeah, and they look, y'all. They don't even have working toilets in many of the slums they live in. They have no plumbing at all. That's why some of the slums you'll see like a whole row of porta potties. And they said you can't even go to those porta potties because you may get raped. So it ain't even safe for them to use those. So that's why you see it, you've been hearing about defecating in the street because that's what they do. They have no plumbing. So how dare you bring your ass over to America talking down on us? No matter what state we're in, trust me, we got plumbing. We got paved streets. We got sidewalks. We got lamp posts outside that shine at night. Okay, we got lawnmowers. We cut our grass. Okay, we do all of these things, and how dare you come from some toilet bowl and come over here and tell us that you're better? So that was very telling that the African Union wanted us The same people that built America, our forefathers did, they wanted the ones that are around today to go over there and build Africa. So you're going to hang on to our money. So this is what you were intended on doing. Take our money, not give us money, give us some little strip of land and have us build your country. You got to be out of your mind. Slavery is over. We're not going back into another captivity in Africa with some Hamites over us. You must be out of your mind. It was bad enough having these devils over us over here. You think we're going to go to the continent and let a bunch of Hamites be over us? Y'all done lost your mind. For real. Okay? Ain't no Hamite that don't even have a goddamn toilet in their shack going to tell me anything. All right? There is nothing you can tell me. So Donald Trump just removed the US from 66 international organizations, and one of those was the AU. So their plans to swipe our reparations is now officially dead. Donald Trump said Africa does not and are not entitled to any reparations for slavery. That's what Donald Trump said. So the AU, you may have made us the sixth region and you had this little underground plan to steal our reparations. Well, not according to Donald Trump. Donald Trump said you ain't getting one dime and you don't deserve anything at all. So, but Donald Trump claims white Americans deserve reparations. Now, here, this is what I don't get. Whenever it's reparations for us, it's DEI and it should not be done. It's not right. But when he speaks of reparations for white people, that's perfectly fine. That should be viewed as DEI as well, because we know white women were the biggest recipient of DEI as well as white men. Don't think white men were not recipients too. They most certainly were. And so that should be viewed as DEI, any reparations going to white people. That's DEI because it's an unfair advantage. And how many unfair advantages does the white community need? You done had millions of them since you've been here. You still need more? How many damn advantages do one group need? Damn. For real? So, no, that should be viewed as DEI. Anything y'all get should be viewed as DEI because you have gotten more over every group here. I don't know how much more you think you need. That is what? Gluttony? That's what that is. It's gluttony. You're like gorging on all the advantages. So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and share my screen so we can get started. Mm. Well, Donald Trump claims that white people had to adore, they had to listen to, you know, us being enslaved. And it's not fair to the white kids that they got to listen to slavery and the white people bad. Well, those white people were bad. I mean, let's be real. Your forefathers were bad people. That's the damn truth. They were. So, I mean, what part of that isn't true? They were bad people. All right, y'all. Give me a one if you can see my screen. Thank you for the ones. I see them. Plus, y'all probably tired of hearing me rant anyway. Let me get my butt off of here.
Can you imagine you being able to make a decision to pay yourself? Because it has to come across my desk, don't you think?
Now,
With the country, it's interesting because I'm the one that makes the decision, right? Well, that decision would have to go across my desk. Wouldn't I mean, I feel like a slave. Yes, I should be paid reparations because Donald needs repairs. And it's awfully strange to make a decision where I'm paying myself, but I was damaged very greatly. And black people, they're asking for reparations all the time. But I think I should get it first. I should get it first. I've been way more abused. What they did, they rigged the election. As you know, we had, in one case, 60 Minutes had to pay us a lot of money. George Slobodopoulos had to pay us a lot of money. I'm out in the fields picking the cotton. Yes, I am doing the same thing mentally. Mentally, I'm in the fields. Yes, I'm a field Negro and I'm a house Negro, both of them.
Well, Donald Trump is asking for reparations for himself. Whoo, this is a fucking cartoon.
I think that if you really think about it, I need repair. I need repair. A lot of things I need. I need lots of money. Lots of money is owed to me, but because I've been insulted, I've been made fun of. Lots of people have been very disrespectful to me. I need it. I was a slave. I've been a slave to the media. I've been hung just like blacks. I've been hung through the media. They've hung me, literally. It's been a lynching. I've been lynched. Yes, I have been. Yeah, I've been going through the same thing blacks have gone through. So I should pay myself. I should pay myself, don't you?
You know what I love? I love when Donald has to look over. He always talking to somebody you don't see on camera.
What do you think? Don't you think I should pay myself? So I should be, yes, reparations. That's right.
Basically, what Donald is saying is, black people, I ain't giving you, but he's helping Argentina, giving them $40 billion. You know, Argentina, they got Lionel Messi, amazing soccer player, but Argentina's racist because that's where all the Nazis went to, right? Yeah, that's where a lot of that racism comes from. The Germans came in there. I think the Germans came into Brazil, too. That's where all that colorism comes from, too. Yeah. So he's giving them money. And he even said, the Argentinians are dying. They're dying. Listen, lady, I don't think you know what you're talking about. The Argentinians are dying, okay? They're dying as we speak. Yeah. So basically it's saying, fuck black plight.
Just in, white man reparations just dropped. Trump administration claims white people are the true victims of job discrimination and should be compensated. Next time on the Mirror Love.
I'm sick, bro. As soon as everybody else in the world start talking about paying reparations, now America want to leave the table. Man, bro, come on. Y'all done had 160 some years, you know what I'm saying, to pay that back pay. It's time, bro. Stop. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Dana with the Data Quick Takes. And today we are talking about reparations. Yes, honey, with a twist. Now, President Donald Trump withdraws the United States from key climate treaty and dozens of other groups dealing with the UN. So U.S. President Donald Trump has withdrawn the United States from dozens of international organizations, including many that work to combat climate change. Oh, God. Now, 66 affected bodies are UN related, and Donald Trump administration is calling it not only woke, but racist. Yeah.
President Donald Trump has signed a major executive order withdrawing the United States from a controversial United Nations forum that he says promotes a global diversity, equity, and inclusion reparations agenda. On January the 7th, 2026, President Donald Trump issued an executive order directing the United States to withdraw from the UN Permanent Forum on People of African Descent, a body established to elevate issues affecting people of African heritage worldwide. According to US officials, the decision was prompted by what they describe as the forum's advocacy for race-based policies and a global reparations agenda, positions the Trump administration says conflict with the US Constitution's Equal Protection Clause and American values. The administration previously accused the forum of advancing racial grievances and having victim-based social policies. US officials also argued that the UN body violated the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause. State Department spokesperson Tommy Pigott declared that America will no longer lend its credibility to racist organizations. The United States is proudly withdrawing from racist organizations such as this forum. He added, radical activists who embrace DEI ideology and seek to compel the United States to adopt policies mandating race-based wealth redistribution in organizations such as the UN Permanent Forum on People of African Descent will no longer be entertained. The UN Permanent Forum on People of African Descent was set up to address issues including racial inequality, discrimination, and historical injustices. Critics in Washington have taken particular aim at agenda items they claim to go beyond traditional diplomacy, including proposals for financial compensation for descendants of slavery and colonialism, as well as calls for reparatory justice in emerging fields like artificial intelligence. The body had previously argued that only reparatory justice can address what is described as technology-enabled racism in fields such as artificial intelligence. The forum's supporters argue that these discussions are part of a long-running UN effort to confront systemic discrimination and uplift historically marginalized communities, a message that's at odds with the White House's framing. This move is part of a wider rollback of US participation in international institutions, a strategy that has seen Washington exit dozens of global organizations and treaties this week alone. In the same executive action, the Trump administration also pulled the US out of 66 international bodies, including climate, health, human rights, and development organizations that the White House labels as contrary to American interests. Senior officials have defended these decisions, saying that they will refocus US resources on national priorities rather than global agendas.
Now, here's the thing. I support and agree with President Donald Trump and the Trump administration on this. Why? Because it does not represent Black Americans. Not only that, it does not benefit Black Americans for even having these organizations in the UN in the first place. So here is Secretary Mark Rubio. And this is what he posted on X. President Trump's withdrawal from 66 international organizations sends a clear message that it is no longer acceptable to invest the American people's hard-earned tax dollars in institutions that cannot demonstrate results, accountability, or respect for our national interests. Absolutely. And I agree with that. Now, here's what the State Department posted on X. We are rejecting the outdated model of multilateralism that treats the American tax dollar as the world's underwriter for a sprawling architect of global governance. President Trump's withdrawal shows that the era of writing blank checks to international bureaucracies is over. Absolutely. Because this was billions and trillions of dollars going out to these international NGOs supposed to be under the skies of United Nations to other countries benefiting foreigners and not the American people, specifically Black Americans. We weren't seeing none of this. We weren't going to never benefit from this. Now, I want to highlight the executive order. So this is the executive order that President Trump signed on January 7th, withdrawing the United States from international organizations, conventions, and treaties that are contrary to the interests of the United States. I'm not going to read all this. You guys could go to the whitehouse.gov and read it, but I wanted to highlight the list of the said organizations. So these are the organizations from which the United States shall withdraw. Carbon-Free Energy Compact, which is BS. Commission, Environmental Corporation, whatever. Freedom Online Coalition, who cares? But I want to scroll down, right? And bring your attention to this. Right here. Permanent Forum on People of African Descent. So when you Google, Trump says no to reparations and withdraw from the United States, he's talking about reparations for Africa. He's like, hell to the no. United States is not an American Express card. We are not paying for reparations for Africa or the Caribbean or South America or anywhere else in this world. And I agree with him because I looked up permanent form on people of African descent. And this is what I found. Now, who and what is this organization called Permanent Forum on People of African Descent? Who are they? What do they do? Who do they represent? Are Black Americans included in this? I don't think so. This is clearly just for the continent of Africa. So scrolling down here, you see all of these, different non-governmental organizations. So it's just one organization after another. You have the main organization, Permanent Forum for People of African Descent. And when you go to that organization, they have dozens of other organizations. One in particular, LGBTQIA plus human rights defenders. Scroll down a little bit and you see the Pan-African Development Forum. And we all know that Pan-African has never benefited Black Americans. And then I see here, Toronto Black Farmers and Food Growers Collective. Well, what about the Black farmers here in the United States? I don't see no organizations listed here in the UN for that. We are not included in this. What do they call themselves? People of African descent.
Heads of state and government are deliberating here at the African Union Commission in Addis Ababa. This year, the continent has set for itself a theme that will focus on justice for Africans and people of African descent through reparations. The African Union seeks to recover what is owed to Africans, both on the continent and in the diaspora, acknowledging the profound harm caused by the transatlantic slave trade, slavery, colonialism, and neo-colonialism. Western countries, including Portugal, the United Kingdom, France, Belgium, the Netherlands, Germany, and the United States of America, played major roles in the slave trade. But how will the African Union achieve the long-sought justice? Some countries in Africa are already demanding what is rightfully theirs from former colonial powers. The DRC, for instance, wants compensation from Belgium. The European country has acknowledged exploitation, racism, and acts of violence in the DRC. Namibian communities whose ancestors were brutally killed in the genocide perpetrated by German colonial forces and had their property seized more than a century ago want Germany to own up and formally apologize and pay reparations. France, which dominated more than 20 countries in Africa, is losing its colonial grip. Countries like Ivory Coast, Chad, Senegal, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso have cut military ties with France and ordered French troops to leave their territories. In Kenya, the scars of British colonial atrocities during the Mau Mau struggle for independence remain alive more than 6 decades on. The African Union says colonial powers that took away what belongs to Africa should be made to pay. It says continued recognition and documentation of the impacts of colonialism and slavery on African societies are crucial for the evidence to remain. According to the African Union, compensatory payments to African nations and communities affected by colonial exploitation could involve colonial powers investing in infrastructure, education, and healthcare to support economic development. Africa wants land to be returned or communities to be compensated for lost territories. The continent is demanding that lost African heritage be restored through funding for cultural institutions, education programs, and the return of cultural artifacts. All this, the African Union says, can be done by involving diplomatic pressure or even legal actions at the international level. And this is one of the continent's key priorities in 2025.
Remember this? The African Union? I did a show on this because the African Union had this year of reparations in 2025, justice for Africans and people of African descent through reparations, which excluded us here in America. Do you guys remember this? Because now this is another subsidiary from the African Union. The African Union 6th region USA. See, this is how they were going to incorporate so-called Black Americans with their Pan-African Black diaspora reparations claim because they need us to really make it happen. But Black Americans, we weren't falling for it. So this isn't going nowhere. And it's definitely not going to be funded to any type of capacity under the Trump administration. But again, this still does not benefit, nor has it represented Black Americans. Why? Because you have a lot of Black immigrants here in America that's going to latch on to our claim of reparations. See, they're going to call themselves Americans because they're American citizens, but their lineage is not of the United States of America. Africa can never and will never get reparations for anything. Africa needs to pay reparations to Black Americans. African Union 6th region global promotes investments. Again, has nothing to do with Black America. So when I say that
another Trump move is in full effect, okay? So y'all remember, you know, the UN, the African Union is basically, along with the damn Democrats, has basically made us their 6th district to collect our reparations to build Africa. And I mean, clearly, they sat up there talking about it's time for Africans to come home and build Africa. Bitch, we ain't Africans and we ain't going over there to do a goddamn thing, okay? Now, Trump was like, this is DEI, okay? How y'all gonna get some reparations for some race-based shit? We don't owe y'all reparations, and America don't owe Africa no damn reparations. So I don't understand why Democrats keep trying to take our goddamn money and put it in Africa. So but anyway, they won't be getting our goddamn shit. You understand what I'm saying? Because we are Americans. We are not Africans, okay? So I understand they trying to do something nice, but anything that's going to the African Union will not translate back to Black America because we are not Africans. We are Black Americans. Y'all need to get that shit through y'all head. And these goddamn Democrats, we need to make sure they don't get back in office because I'm telling y'all, they gonna get right back in all of those organizations that he just withdrew from. So, but for right now, while they not in office, we safe. The Africans can't take our reparations. You know what I mean? But we ain't gonna always be safe because once the Democrats get back in power, I'm telling y'all, they come in full force with the same bullshit. So be aware. But I wanted to let y'all know that. You know what I mean? And it's just so funny. Like, the fact that Africans are even trying to get reparations from America is just diabolical. Like, bitch, y'all sold whatever little bit of Africans that y'all got over here. You know what I mean? So whoever got African lineage over here, we need to be suing these Western countries in Africa. You know what I mean? These Western states in Africa. So I'm just like, the audacity for the African Union to even try some shit like that. I mean, man, you know what I mean? Like, I'm telling y'all, them African leaders are terrible. And this is why Africa is going through what it's going through right now, because of these fake ass leaders. But anyway, peace and blessings, y'all.
Oh, yeah, I agree with this, sister. If anything, Africa better dig in their pockets and give us reparations too. Who the hell do you think you are trying to intercept our reparations money? I mean, whether we get it or not, we don't need Africa to be involved in nothing. We are fine. We don't need nobody from the continent of Africa representing us or speaking for us when it comes down to reparations. Y'all are on your own. And no, and build your nation, girl, please. Y'all better go somewhere and sit down. You better get them folks you got over there over $1 billion and get their asses out there to build up the nation. So anyway, y'all, it's just like these Somalians. over here trying to tell us how great Somalia is, and Somalia looks like a dump. You know, it's the same damn thing. And it's like, if y'all all that, then how come your homeland looks like crap? Shoot, you don't even want to be over there. You're over here. If y'all love your homeland, why do you keep running from it? These people are living all over in different places across the globe, anywhere but Somalia. So, anyway, y'all, Donald Trump shut all that mess down. You won't be hearing about no sixth regent and them working to get reparations for Africa and the diaspora. All that is crushed. So you won't have to hear about it again. You know, Donald Trump ain't going to give Africa 1 red cent. He's not even giving us 1 red cent. So why would he give them anything? And that's the whole point. Cyberdyne 100, thank you for the super chat. Good afternoon, Lisa Cabrera and chat. Good afternoon to you, and thank you for your support from my channel. Ocean Soul, thank you for your super chat. Does Loretta have a snow shovel? No, she'll probably sleep the whole time we're out there shoveling out. But no, but thank you for your support from my channel. I deeply appreciate it. Zachariah Williams, thank you for the super sticker. Yashala Yaada, I'm sorry if I'm saying Yuada. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Thank you for the super chat. Let me see what you said. Love you, feel better family. Thank you. And thank you for your support from my channel. Y'all, you know, I'm not surprised Donald Trump took the stand. I know darn well he don't want to give that continent 1 dime. If he can get away with not giving them anything, he would. So it just seems to me that Africa was, they had dollar signs in their eyes. And see, they know it wouldn't be possible to get any money unless we're attached to it. I know why they did it. You know, we, out of everybody on this globe, got the most legitimate claim for reparations. That's why they tried to tie us into the whole thing. That was the big reason. Because if they do it on their own, it don't look as strong. You know, their case don't look as strong without us. That's why they tried to drag us in the entire thing. But, you know, nobody is interested in being part of the African reparations or whatever the hell those people are doing. Danielle Meyer, thank you for the 33-month membership. Watch the Weather family. The Most High is not playing with these demons. No, he isn't. That is absolutely right. And thank you for your support from my channel. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna trust me, we're getting our compensation. It is written, y'all. It is written that we will get our inheritance. We're gonna get every dime of it, whether they want to give it up or not. That's a non-issue. We will get it. We will get it. Mm-mm-mm. Right. G was that 1929, 21. You're right. And not only did they come here and go straight to welfare and food stamps, they never got off of it the entire time they've been here. You know, especially the Somalian community, 80%, did you know 80% of them don't have jobs? No, I said no, because they were making it off of scam money. Mm. Do I have a generator? No, I don't. No, I don't. But you know, I have gas heat that works separately from the electricity. So even if the power goes out, I would still have heat in my house. Mhm. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you so much for being here. I deeply appreciate our time together. I appreciate your support for my Give Send Go, and also the Cash Apps and PayPal donations. Thank you so much. I deeply appreciate it. I'm still saving up from my surgery. And in the community tab, I have pinned up, I'm going to be doing live selling over on TikTok for the first time. And if you're interested in watching or you want to, be part of it, you can, I'll be selling, but I'll be able to see the chat. So if anybody have any questions about products that I go over, you'll be able to ask and I'll be able to answer. So thank you. That will be from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., 1 hour. So I will see you then. And I will have one more live coming up. I'm just still working on it. So have a wonderful afternoon, everybody, and stay safe. Shalom, family.